In a world where the news gets twisted, John and Tom stand tall, never wished it. MAGA hats on, they take the stage. With laughter and facts, they break the cage. Unsanctioned voices feel less and bold, turning the tide, watch the truth unfold. Unsanctioned America, hear their call. With a duo on fire, they'll never fall. From the heart of the right, they bring the fight, lasting through the night, shining light. Oh, debating the nonsense of the woke parade. With every punchline, conservative trade, they tackle the issues with humor and wit. In unsanctioned America, they won't quit. So tune in tight, let the laughter ignite, as John and Tom clash through the political night. Unsanctioned America, hear their call. With a duo on fire, they'll never fall. From the heart of the right, they bring the fight, lasting through the night, shining light. So tune in tight, let the laughter ignite, as John and Tom clash through the political night. Unsanctioned America, hear their call. With a duo on fire, they'll never fall. From the heart of the right, they bring the fight, lasting through the night, shining light. Oh, together they rise, wear their pride like a crown. In unsanctioned America, never backing down. Unsanctioned America, hear their call. With a duo on fire, they'll never fall. From the heart of the right, they bring the fight, lasting through the night, shining light. Oh, shining light.
Welcome to Unsanctioned.
He sure has a lot to say, doesn't he, John?
Well, I mean, that's probably the most amount of sense he's made when talking about the fires in California. And it makes good sense because if he ever has a political career anywhere, it might be in India before anywhere else in the United States.
Yeah.
We can probably kiss that political career goodbye at this point.
Yeah, I think he's done, John.
Yeah, I think he's done. Welcome to another episode of Unsanctioned America. I am former school board member John Arguello, my good friend over here, citizen Tom Lord. We are excited to come to you this evening on January 16, 2025. We have a tremendous amount of great stories for you. I'm going to pull them up. I'll read you the headlines, and then we will get do our prayer and get right into the show. This is what an amazing time to be alive, right, Tom? I mean,
Absolutely.
We have the inauguration just days away.
Days away.
The country is excited.
Days away,
right?
and we will have our president back in office, the greatest president of our lifetime, and he will usher in a new golden age of America. I can't wait, John. It's exciting. So exciting.
Yeah, I cannot wait. I mean, when you say a new golden age, it just a few years ago, just 4 years ago, right? 5 years ago, actually, this country was on such a great path. Can you imagine if we had continued for another 5 years after that, right? I mean, it would have been incredible. Instead, we got 4 years of Biden, which may have been a good thing because now it took all of those liberals that have been so devoted to the Democrat Party and has shattered their hopes. A huge percentage of them shattered their hopes for a future democratic America. It has shattered their confidence in the Democrat Party. And the reason that these are good things is because I think people like you and I, we've been awake to the fact that they've just tried to destroy the country, as we're going to demonstrate on the show this evening, right? When we talk about the stories that we got, I'll read the headlines and then you'll see. I mean, obviously, that was right there. The official inauguration chorus has been selected by Trump. California is ablaze, probably a lot of buyer's remorse for Gavin Newsom. The Senate leader, John Thune, has already guaranteed that Hegseth will be the next Secretary of Defense. Good for him. Congratulations,
Absolutely.
Mr. Hegseth, former future secretary. Chances are really good, looking really good for Pam Bondi as well. Former Florida AG, did a tremendous job. She smoked the entire batting order for the Democrats. I don't think that any of them have. Here's the thing, they wanted to turn these hearings into a circus, and they ended up being the animals in the cages. And that's probably was, it was really a backfiring type of event. Welcome to the USA, Greenland. We're going to talk about Greenland. We have officials from Greenland who want and have wanted. We talked about this in the prep. Officials from Greenland have wanted independence from Denmark, and now they have a great alternative to union with Denmark. We're going to talk about that. The Secret Service has activated every resource, they say, to keep patriots safe on Inauguration Day, as 4,000 cops from across the country have volunteered to work the event and keep us all safe, keep the president safe. Incredible. Special appearance, by the way, on that day, expect by the Trump dump truck. I guess so. Are these the Trump dump trucks, garbage trucks, or are these just moving vans for the Biden family? They'll probably look about the same. Questions as the California fires are going unanswered. People are still looking to find answers. How did this happen? Why did it happen? People are coming up with conspiracy theories in the void of leadership. And talk about conspiracy theories. OMG, O'Keefe Media Group strikes again. You're going to be shocked by these stories. I'm sure that you've already heard of it. But like just a pair of big news items dropped from OMG Media, O'Keefe Media Group. Mentally ill man tries to groom children on video. I mean, you already know what party he's from, right? You already know. Certainly looks like a mentally ill man to me, and he's certainly grooming children, in my opinion. It looks like to me he's grooming children. That's what I would call it, and we'll talk about that. So let's do a quick prayer for this nonsense to let's complete the cycle of ending the nonsense in the United States and getting back to normalcy. Lord God, we are so close to a great moment in our country because the country has come together. The country has decided that they've had enough. The country has decided that it wants a future that is based in old-fashioned American principles of hard work, honor, and integrity and dignity. These are all things we are tired. The American people are finally tired of corruption and nonsense and self-service and just the typical status quo of these politicians over the last several decades. We had enough of corporations running the politicians, enough of special interest groups running the politicians, and the American people are rising up. We hope that as they rise up against this politics as usual, they come to an understanding that the blessings that have been bestowed upon this country come from you, and that they continue to marry those two items. And as long as we put you first in our life and in our government and in everything that we do, we know that you'll take care of this country and its people. In your son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Let's get to it, Tom.
All right, let's get into some news headlines. All right, so yes, John, Pete Hegseth, man, it's just incredible the way he's handled things in this Democrat torture chamber that he's been going through. But yes, it's true. Thune is saying that Pete Hegseth will be confirmed. Let's check this out.
Hearing from senators now that the Hegseth hearing is done.
The expectation that he will get confirmed. In fact, I just asked Senator John Thune, who's the Republican leader, the majority leader, decides the schedule of the United States Senate. I asked him about Hegseth's nomination. Thune has not said a ton about this nomination. I said, does he have any concerns about these allegations of sexual assault that Hegseth has denied but came up in today's hearing, about these allegations of misconduct and the like? And he indicated he does not. According to Thune, he said that Hegseth acquitted himself extremely well, and that he plans to move very quickly on this nomination. And it is moving quickly. We expect the Senate Armed Services Committee to have a vote as soon as Monday, Inauguration Day. That is according to the chairman of the committee, Roger Wicker, who told me that he believes that he'll get the support of all Republicans and be able to push this.
All right, so that was reporting from CNN, and of course, you're going to hear the thing about allegations of sexual assault and other things coming from CNN, John. To be expected from them. But we have, for our audience here, and thanks to wait a minute. All right. Thanks to Colin Rugg on X, we have the top 5 moments from Pete Hegseth's confirmation hearing, and then we'll comment and talk about that.
A small handful of anonymous sources were allowed to drive a smear campaign, an agenda about me, because our left-wing media in America today, sadly, doesn't care about the truth. All they were out to do, Mr. Chairman, was to destroy me. And why do they want to destroy me? Because I'm a change agent and a threat to them, because Donald Trump was willing to choose me, to empower me, to bring the Defense Department back to what it really should be, which is warfighting.
Everything you've said in these public statements is politics. I don't want women. I don't want moms. What's wrong with a mom, by the way? Once you have babies, you therefore are no longer able to be lethal. I mean, you're basically saying women, after they have children, can't ever serve in the military in a combat role. It's a silly thing to say. So you say it was a political thing. You say it undermined us. Social engineering. I don't know why someone having to publicly say or not publicly say who they love is social engineering.
The senator from Virginia starts bringing up the fact that what if you showed up drunk to your job? How many senators have showed up drunk to vote at night? Have any of you guys asked them to step down and resign from their job? And don't tell me you haven't seen it, because I know you have. And then how many senators do you know have got a divorce before cheating on their wives? Did you ask them to step down? No. But it's for show. You guys make sure you make a big show and point out the hypocrisy because the man's made a mistake. And you want to sit there and say that he's not qualified? Give me a joke. I mean, it is so ridiculous that you guys hold yourself as this higher standard and you forget you got a big plank in your eye.
I have read multiple reports of your regularly being drunk at work, including by people who worked with you at Fox News.
She sounds drunk.
Do you know that being drunk
does.
at work is prohibited for service members under the UCMJ?
Senator, those
Yes
are
or no?
multiple false anonymous reports peddled by NBC
Do you
News
know that
run directly
drinking on the job
contradictory to
is
the dozens of men and women at
not
Fox News
contemplated
Channel
on it?
who I work with,
I'm
who
not
came
hearing
on
the
the
answer to my
record
question.
and said they
In your
never
opening
seen
statement,
that.
Mr.
Also, you could be
In
at the Defense
other
Department.
words, you're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. You're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
You'll be the one.
He got her. But John, a lot of these Democrats can't get the words out of their mouths. and they can't keep from stepping all over their tongues. They wanted to set this up as a torture chamber for Hegseth, but not quite working out the way they wanted it to, is it?
No, of course not. I mean, the fact is he's a qualified guy. Listen, that Austin, the outgoing Department of Defense leader, the Secretary of Department of Defense, he was a qualified guy, right? What made him qualified? Well, for one, he was a Silver Star winner, a war hero. The guy was legit. Okay, as much as I cannot stand the guy, he ruined the Army, my beloved Army. He ruined it. He turned it into a woke experiment, which has failed incredibly. He has killed morale. He has destroyed recruitment. He has just killed it. But he was qualified. Why? Because he went all the way up to it. In my opinion, he's qualified for different reasons. But according to the people who voted yes on him, he's qualified because he was a 4-star general, because he was a member of the club. And look what that resulted in. A terrible, ineffective United States Army and military forces for the first time in our history since the Revolutionary War. Right? So, I mean, he just killed it. Now you have a guy that they don't like because he's not a 4-star general. I think he retired as a light colonel or something, right? And or as a major. Actually, I think it was a major. So, you know, I mean, they don't like that. They don't like the fact that he's more closely closer to the ground, so to speak. But that's why America wants him, and that's why soldiers like him. They want a guy who's had a rifle in his hand, but who's not a member of the club like Austin. They want somebody who understands what it's like to be a soldier, you know, on the ground today, who's going to put them first. And that's what our country needs, really. I think that it's not hard to be a leader. I've been a CEO. Am I some kind of crazy special human being? No. I'm a normal man just like anybody else. Could anybody have done my job at that time? Yeah, probably. Almost everyone can. And when people rise to the occasion, you'd be surprised what they can do. I think that their whole idea that they say that he's unqualified because he cheated on his wife, right? They're unqualified because he drinks, or he used to drink. I don't know what his situation is exactly. Well, I mean, then none of these people who are elected would be allowed to have their office if that was the determining factor, right? Yes. Cheating on your wife? Give me a break. They all cheat on their wives. I mean, look at the politicians here in Osceola, not in just in Osceola, in Florida in general. If you look at how many of them have cheated on their wives, none of them would be allowed to be elected. All right. There's a few good ones, moral people who never get involved in anything like that. But I mean, by and large, these are not moral people. If they were, they wouldn't steal from the public.
Well, John,
they wouldn't steal opportunity in life.
I was going to say, in Osceola County, they're mostly swingers, and I don't think that you could say that swingers are cheating, right?
No, they can't. No, that's not the right. Swinging's not cheating. It's not the same thing. But what I mean is that they're like the Sheehy said, you have a plank in your eye. Yeah. And you're judging this guy while you have a plank in your eye? I mean, this is remember Christian Ziegler, I'll bring him up, right? They removed him from the party, and they told us this because he's this terrible person for doing these whatever, right? But I was like, come on, these guys are offended by things that they're all doing up there in Tallahassee? Yeah. Well, that can't be the reason. And it ended up not being the case. Now everybody's coming to the realization that this was a coup.
Yes.
This was an establishment coup against some guy who was hardcore Trump guy, right? And so can we really believe anything that they're saying? They destroyed Christian Ziegler's reputation, right? And of course, there's going to be very Christian-centered people who are offended by maybe what Christian was doing or had done or whatever. But then why aren't you outraged at all the people that are up there pretending right now? That's just as outrageous to me as this guy. It's not like he didn't have consent with his wife and all that stuff. That's their own business. At some point, this is the United States. We're not in Iran. So, I mean, I just don't believe in the hypocrisy. And that's the chief skill of Democrats is hypocrisy. And I think that's why they got destroyed today. And they'll continue to get destroyed as these committee hearings proceed on the way to get Pam Bondi and all the rest of them, through their nominations.
Yeah, I mean, they can pick up on anything they want to and try and throw it at these people. They hate Hegseth because he is not one of them. He is not part of the Washington scene. Yeah. He's not part of the establishment. He hasn't run in the D.C. circles, so they don't want nothing to do with him. They don't want him up there, not to mention the fact that he's Trump's pick. But this is why Trump picked him, because he is an outsider coming in. But he has had his feet on the ground as far as the military goes, and he knows the military. He knows the soldiers. He knows the soldiers that are out there fighting, and I can't think of a better person to represent. We'll see what happens here.
Sure.
Obviously, Thune is saying that he's going to make it. He's going to go through. That's great. Now we have others coming up. We have Pam Bondi. We have Kash Patel going to come up. We have Marco Rubio going to come up, and I'm sure Rubio will get through. We'll see about Kash Patel. Hopefully he does. But Pam Bondi, John. Pam Bondi, she is going through these Democrat torture hearings right now. But she's holding her own. She's doing all right. This Senator Sheldon Whitehouse humiliated himself absolutely by asking if Bondi would weaponize the Justice Department against their political opponents. Watch this.
And it would not be appropriate for a prosecutor to start with a name and look for a crime. It's a prosecutor's job to start with a crime and look for a name, correct?
Senator, I think that is the whole problem with the weaponization that we have seen the last 4 years and what's been happening to Donald Trump. They targeted Donald Trump. They went after him, actually starting back in 2016. They targeted his campaign. They have launched countless investigations against him. That will not be the case if I am Attorney General. I will not politicize that office. I will not target people simply because of their political affiliation. Justice will be administered even-handedly throughout this country. Senator, we've got to bring this country back together. We've got to move forward, or we're going to lose our country.
Yep, and well said. And I've been watching a few of the clips from her hearings, John. She's doing a good job.
Yeah, she's doing a great job. She's a good attorney. She is. I don't think that she's going to have a lot of trouble making it through. People don't object to her. I think that a lot of these rhino Republicans wanted her to say that she supported FISA and that it didn't, FISA wasn't spying on Americans. First of all, that's BS. We know that it was used against Americans, but they forced her to say that she liked it and that it was okay. And who knows what that means in the future? Maybe she'll keep her word to them or she'll keep her word to the American people. We'll see. But she's probably going to make it. She was a high-powered lobbyist when she left the Florida AG job and went to, I think it was Ballard. And, she's not like, she's a far more acceptable, tolerable for the rhinos than, and not because she is one. I don't think she is one. It's just that she plays her cards very well, right? And she never puts herself in opposition or in a bad position. She's a very strategic person. I think that she is loyal to Trump. And I think that she's going to be a great AG, and hopefully she runs away with this job and starts putting people in jail.
Absolutely, and we will keep following what's happening with these confirmation hearings. I'm sure they're going to be very interesting going forward, John, especially with the rest of the nominees that are going to come forward. So yeah, we'll definitely keep up with that. Greenland, John. The Prime Minister of Greenland, he is saying that he is ready to speak to President Trump as he calls for independence from Denmark. Listen to this.
Vi vil ikke være danskere, vi vil ikke være amerikanere, vi vil selvfølgelig være grønlændere. Og selvfølgelig er det den grønlandske folk, som bestemmer deres fremtid. Det tror jeg, der er en fælles forståelse for. Og at bygge frem til det, er også det, som alle burde have respekt for. Og selvfølgelig er mange ting, som der foregår i verden. Det er en foranderlig verden. For 3-4 år siden har vi nok ikke troet, at vi var her. Og det problemstillinger, vi har i dag, ikke var gældende.
Har du været i kontakt med Donald Trump, den kommende amerikanske præsident?
Nej, men vi er klar til at snakke sammen. Jeg tror, vi begge to er klar til at øge dialogen og række ud, og dermed også snakke om de ting, der samler os i den verden, vi lever.
All right, so yeah, you can listen to that. I don't think you understand, but thankfully there was
I understood
captioning
every
at the
word.
bottom that translated for the prime minister there. But very interesting that they are ready for independence. And like you said, John, in the pre-show, these people have been wanting to be independent from Denmark. They're not happy with Denmark. Tell us more.
Well, the people of Greenland are more likely to gain independence than the American colony of Puerto Rico, right? So the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico is much further from independence than Greenland is from Denmark, and that's been the case for a long time. So when Trump said, when I first heard this whole conversation, all this talk about Greenland, I was like, man, what? The right, listen, the people who think that Trump is not on top of the game, he's like the polar opposite of Biden. Trump is playing chess. You know, if he said Greenland, he was thinking about Greenland in his last, I don't know, 20 years ago, not just yesterday. And he has a familiarity with the dynamics in Greenland in order for him to reach that out, because he doesn't call losers, right? And what I love about it is that Trump thinks huge. He's thinking way out here. Everybody else is like, oh, I'm going to build a house. It's going to be like whatever. It's going to be, a 3-3, whatever, 3,000 square feet. Trump is like, I'm going to have golden toilets, and he's taking that whole vibe to the presidency. He's really going out there, and he picked a perfect place. He's a real estate guy, and I hate to make it that simple, but it's just like the way that he analyzes real estate is obviously the way that he analyzes global perspectives in terms of the United States. And he was like, that's a great piece of land. There's all kinds of international pressures. That sea lane along that, the North Atlantic is very strategically important. And Greenland is a tremendous, tremendous opportunity for the United States. So he says we don't want to be Americans, but they don't want to be Danish. If they had to pick, and I'm just guessing based on having known a little bit about Greenland and its past politics, they're probably more likely to pick being American than being part of Denmark. And so that's how smart Trump is. And I wish that they would. I mean, what would happen to Greenland if it became part of the United States? Greenland would be like the northern Florida. It would be great. Now they're far more on the left than Florida, but it would become a northern paradise. And you would see Americans flocking. They would all become rich. It's, and not that makes it better or worse, but it would just change the dynamic of Greenland for the better, I think. And Americans have a lot of respect for the environment, just in a different style than someplace like Denmark would, where it would allow more freedom for the people of Greenland. And it makes sense. It makes sense. Even if he did, it'd be like the Louisiana Purchase in 2025. I mean,
yeah.
It's
John,
incredible.
I never even really thought about Greenland at all until President Trump brought it up, and I was like, why is he talking about Greenland? Why is he interested in Greenland? And I started to look into Greenland, look into their politics a little bit, and know a few things about Greenland. And yes, maybe if the United States took on Greenland would become the northern Florida. But I'll tell you what, I won't be flocking there because it's cold there.
Well, yeah, right. Ironically, Greenland is covered in ice, right? It's mostly ice, mostly white. And so Iceland is covered in grass. It's more green, and then Greenland is covered in ice. But I think that's, I think that Americans appreciate the frontiers.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what Greenland is.
Yeah,
and
there'd be some people that would really look at that as a challenge or something.
I think a lot of people would travel. I think a lot of people would travel to Greenland. It's, it's not like you can't do that now, but it's a whole different thing when it's in the United States. And there's got to be a reason. I think that the reason is strategic placement. And Trump loves things that have names and purpose, right? It is the largest island in the world, right? And so you have the largest island in the world, and he would probably market that. He's a chief marketer, of the United States also. So it's just an interesting thing. And I would not be surprised if you saw, because you have to remember, it's the art of the deal type of thing, right? Maybe he has no intention of bringing Greenland into the United States, right? Maybe they have no intention at all. But the pressure and the negotiation aspects of him saying Greenland's going to be state 51 is tremendous. And people are terrified of Trump and his whims.
Yeah.
True.
All right, John. So, 4 days away. We are 4 days away from this inauguration. A lot of people we know are on their way up there to D.C. to go see this. Unfortunately, I can't go. I have to work. I don't know. You're not going, are you, John? Are you going to the inauguration?
No, I'm not going to go. I believe me, I would love to go. First of all, I didn't get an invitation. If I had gotten an invitation, I would probably go. I would have started walking like 4 weeks ago.
Right.
And it would have been like the highlight of my year for sure of 2025. So early in 2025. But no, I'm not going.
Yeah, it's tough. You know what I mean? The hotels around the area sell out. It's a tough situation, and we know there's going to be thousands upon thousands of people there. Well, John, the head of the Secret Service that's in charge of President Trump's inauguration has announced that it's a high-threat environment, and they've activated every resource to keep Trump and the patriots on the ground safe. Watch this.
I would say what's different is we are in a higher threat environment.
What is the difference in comparison to the last inauguration or previous inauguration?
Last inauguration? Yeah. I would say we have a slightly more robust security plan. We've been planning for this event for 12 months, along with our partners. It's an ever-changing threat environment, and so we stay flexible. If we see that, hey, we need to shore this particular checkpoint up, we do that. So what's different? We've learned. This is our 5th NSSE this year in the Washington field office. We've done 83 NSSEs. Each one we take a look at, and if there's areas where we need to improve, we do it. But what I can tell you is that we are 100% confident in the plan that we have put in place for this inauguration, that the public and our protectees will be safe.
All right, so hopefully that makes everyone feel a little bit better. I don't know, Secret Service, especially the way they've been running the last couple of months and the things we've seen firsthand, I don't know if that makes anybody feel any better. But knowing this, John, should make some people feel a little bit better. And that is that D.C. police officials have announced that nearly 4,000 police officers nationwide have volunteered to come help at President Trump's inauguration. Here's that story.
Our entire police department will be activated for the presidential inauguration. In addition, we'll be reinforced with nearly 4,000 officers from across the United States who were generous enough to raise their hands and commit their time to assist the Metropolitan Police Department. Those additional resources will be deployed to manage traffic, secure dignitary routes, and ensure public safety in our city. I'd like to pause and thank those officers who are coming to our city, taking time away from their families to ensure the safety and security of this event. Their commitment to our country, to this city, and their law enforcement partners are admirable. They deserve praise from us all. Also,
I would say this. I feel if I was going to the inauguration, I would feel a lot safer knowing that these 4,000 officers are going on their own accord, volunteering to go and protect the people and the dignitaries that are going to be on the scene that day.
I think that 4,000 cops from across the country who are honored to protect the president of the United States is really cool. You probably couldn't get 4,000 people who didn't change their gender or weren't on hormones or weren't trying to groom kids to attend Biden's inauguration. And now you have 4,000 cops who are volunteering to protect the patriots who show up on that day. I mean, what a vast difference between these two presidents. It's incredible. I mean, the amount of patriotism, you can really feel it beginning to build, you know, and it's not crazy. It's not people, it's not blue-haired crazies. It's not, you know, it's not grotesque. You're not going to have anybody bearing their breasts like that transgender did at Biden's, you know, house. You know, you're not, I mean, we're done. We're done with the nuts. We're done with the craziness and nuts figuratively, not literally. And because there was plenty of both hanging out at all Biden events.
Yes.
But we're essentially just going back to an America that we can be proud of. And the Democrats have been saying, oh, you know, he's a clown. He's a clown. They keep calling Trump the clown, but the only clowns have been the entire cabinet of Biden.
Yep.
And I mean, it's just Americans are excited.
Absolutely. And that is the truth. I mean, the Biden administration is full of clowns, that whole cabinet. And for them,
I mean, that was the qualification, right?
Yeah,
It was, you had to be some kind of clown. I mean, and you had to be some kind of DEI person. And I mean,
you can still see the pictures all over the place of the guy that went to events, actually showed up to work in dresses and was stealing luggage at the airport. You always bring up that guy. And you still see pictures of that guy everywhere, you know, crazy.
Yeah, and the guy who wears dresses in a military uniform, and you know, I mean, they're all kinds of, you know, just nut jobs. That's all. I mean, that's what you had to be. And then you have, I mean, the person who's his spokesperson. Look what a nut job she is. She's a DEI pick that was horrible for him. And I mean, that's what the country looks like with DEI, and that's why you see companies getting rid of it the minute that you get rid of Biden.
It's time to get rid of all of that and get rid of Biden. It's time to bring in that golden age, John. We're 4 days away. We're praying for the safety of President Trump and everyone that's at that inauguration. Let's let this happen smoothly. Let it be the greatest inauguration of all time. And
it will be for sure.
Yeah. Before we move on to our next segment, which is across the nation, national news, we have this important message that you need to see. John, and I just want to say real quick, 2 out of the 3 memes or videos that we have shown on the show tonight were from Donaldo Trumpo on Twitter. It's
I love that. I love that Twitter account. That X account.
He is amazing. Some of the things he puts out there are just so incredible. So incredible. All right, John. So, yes, help is on the way, hopefully for these people suffering in California from these wildfires that are happening. But one Hollywood actor, and that is Eddie Griffin, is saying that the Los Angeles wildfires are being used to burn up evidence of the Hollywood pedophile ring. Now, Eddie curses in this video quite a bit. Most of it is bleeped out, but I think one might slip through. So if you have any children around you while you watch this show, please have them cover their ears.
Hello and welcome to another installment of NNN, where we give it to you straight, no chaser. Let's get right to it. LA is on fire. Now, a lot of people saying it's to cover up the pedophile trail, and all of a sudden the water ain't working. And hold on, 60% of the water rights is owned by this fucking couple. What's their name? Yeah, the wonderful company is owned by this husband and wife team. They own pistachio, they own Fiji water. I stopped drinking any of that around the motherfucking globe. Let them motherfuckers go broke. Feeding the pistachios and almonds, all that goddamn water. Meanwhile, people's houses burning down, dying of thirst and shit. All these sons of bitches. And the regulators who allowed them motherfuckers to own 60% of the goddamn water. Fire them motherfuckers too, goddammit. What the fuck is y'all problem? That is public water. We built the dam that's holding that water and all that shit with taxpayers' dollars. How the fuck y'all gonna sign it over to this goddamn couple? Sons of bitches. Let's pray for the motherfuckers out there that houses is burning down and shit, unless they pedophiles. If they pedophiles, let that shit burn. Cause I know what you're doing. You're burning the evidence up, sons of bitches, but we still gonna catch you. And let somebody do some research. In the rich neighborhoods, who had already left their house and knew that the fire was coming?
You know, that's an interesting thing that he says that at the end of that video, right? I mean, there's a whole bunch of interesting things that he says. Number one, in California, there were laws recently passed that increased the cost of having these giant mansions astronomically. I mean, it's super expensive to have a mansion in California. And so you saw all of these people selling their mansions in California. I mean, that was a big deal, right? That's why rich people have been leaving California for this reason, that you can't hold on to a house. You can't afford, it's not worth it, right? So that's one thing. So now imagine you are staying in the house and now somebody burns all the houses, all these mansions down, right? And imagine the insurance payout. Although there is stuff with the insurance, because we saw a couple of people say they canceled my insurance just a few months ago, right? And there was one conservative, I can't remember who it was, but there was a conservative who was saying, a conservative actor was saying that they burned his home down, and you know, his home got. And then there's also all these videos of people starting fires in Los Angeles. Oh. So what is going on? People are starting fires. Did this fire? You know, there's video of big fires being started. Some of them have been caught. Illegal aliens have been starting fires. I think they caught an illegal alien. It's just incredible what is going on right now. California is it's like Mad Max. It is a lawless land. It is. It's just a place that you can't raise a family safely anymore, right? I mean, and this is all happening. I think Mel Gibson's house burned down. But it's interesting if we do go back and we look who sold, because we know Mel Gibson's unliked by Hollywood, right? Right. But if you go and you look at who sold their houses in advance of this fire, it would be an interesting observation.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more, John. And, you know, one of the most interesting things that I picked up on that he said and he was talking about was the couple that own the wonderful pistachio company. And he said they also own Fiji Water, that California legislators gave them 60% of the water to, I guess, grow their pistachios and create their Fiji brand water. And he's telling you in the video, don't eat their pistachios, don't drink their water, because that's why California doesn't have any water right now for their fire hydrants, because 60% of the water is going to them. I don't know. You heard that, right? You picked up on that?
Yeah, I did. I never knew who owned that company, and for sure, I'm not going to drink Fiji water ever again. I'm not going to eat their brand of pistachios either. I'm not going to, you know. I talk with my money a lot. You know, I don't have a lot of money, but whatever I do have, I try to spend it in the places that don't offend me. So I mean, I don't eat at Starbucks. I don't drink at Starbucks, and so on. You know, it is interesting that he says, well, if that's the case, if this is the arrangement, I'm sure that arrangement is going to come under a lot of heat, and people are going to be looking at it and see what actually happened there and see what the arrangement was. And I'm glad. I mean, sometimes things like this happen, and those are the silver lining, right? Yeah. Of this is that you get to relook at your situation and who you're dealing with and who your politicians are dealing with and so on. So, you know, something else is just in general, this fire exposed crazy DEI policies more than anything else I've seen, right? The only thing that compares to this is basically the DEI, the pornography in schools thing, right? During COVID. when parents woke up because you're witnessing these things on your kids' homework and stuff, right? Because you're all stuck home. And so this is another great awakening. Now you see what DEI does in an emergency. Now, this is what they've done to the Army. We were talking about earlier. Austin has DEI'd our Army. So now you have a whole bunch of moms, which one of those senators was so disgusted by him, Hegseth, saying that, you know, we don't want moms in combat roles. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have wanted a mom. Now, listen, I've served with some women and I've served with some great soldiers who are females for sure, right? But I wouldn't necessarily want a mom to be killed on a battlefield instead at home with her child. Not that I would want a dad killed at home either, but normally the Army's like a young guy kind of thing, right? People who die on battlefields are normally young men. So, you know, I mean, when you think about moms dying on the battlefield, I mean, it's not a pleasant thought. Why would anybody be offended by that? Well, they've DEI'd the Army, they DEI'd Los Angeles, and the exact same result, the absolute feckless disaster that is the LA firefighting situation because of DEI is exactly what our Army, our armed forces would go through when they after they DEI the Army or the armed forces. You know, it's the same exact thing.
It is, John. And, you know, I didn't have time to look into Eddie Griffin's claims about the couple that own the wonderful pistachio company before the show. But I'm definitely going to. And if there is some credibility, and I'm sure there is, I'm sure that he didn't just mention that without the facts being present. You know what I mean? I doubt he would just go after these people for no reason. So I'm going to look into that.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that he
true,
says then in that case,
I'm going to bring it to the next show.
Well, then the other thing is that we also have to talk about the accusations that he made, which are also pretty important, right? Which is they're trying to cover up evidence of things. Now, who else's house burnt down? Hunter Biden's. So Hunter Biden's house burnt down, okay? And guess what it had in it? Supposedly millions of dollars worth of his paintings. Now, I mean, you know, by painting, I think that his method is pretty creative. It's basically a canvas stained with the smoke from a crack pipe. I think that's how he does his paintings. But regardless, millions of dollars of his paintings are being claimed for insurance. So let's see if he gets a big multi-million-dollar check for these, you know, one almost slipped out of my mouth there just now, Tom, for his crappy paintings, you know, in this fire. So, I mean, it's just, you can't trust anything anything that happens in a leftist town run by leftists, you can't trust it. That's the bottom line.
You definitely can't. And many people aren't trusting it, John, and the first lawsuits have been filed over this Los Angeles fire. Here's another reason and another theory as to what happened here with this fire, John.
In terms of the investigation, now authorities on the record are saying that both fires, both the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire, are under investigation. But the LA Times is reporting that there's an electrical transmission tower up in Eaton Canyon that is currently cordoned off. It's being investigated as the possible origin of the fire. Now, SoCal Edison has put out a statement. They put out a statement yesterday saying that they have checked all of their electrical equipment in Eaton Canyon and that all of it was working correctly and that it could not be the start of the fire. However, the LA Times reporting that an electrical transmission tower up in Eaton Canyon is currently cordoned off, possibly the start and the origin of that fire. Back to you.
I don't know, man. I've seen so many videos of people starting fires. This would make sense. There's no water. It doesn't matter what happens. The fact that you turn on a fire hydrant and there's no water speaks to mismanagement of everything. Trump immediately was like, hey, I told them that they needed to clear the bush in their forest. They didn't manage that properly. It's just a disaster. They're on the ocean. You're like miles away from the ocean and you can't put out a fire. You don't have any water. If they didn't want to kill these little fishes, I know they're saying that there's little fishes that Gavin Newsom was trying to save. And so that's why all the people are living in a desert. But why didn't he just have ocean water pumped to the reservoirs for firefighting specifically? Right? Yeah. You don't have to worry about it being, you know, I mean, Why not? I mean, I don't know. Maybe the salt water is not good for. I don't know, but I'm just saying. Why not have a desalination plant in California for firefighting then? Or I don't something. It's just come on, you're going to let your whole city burn. I mean, in 1906 or something, that there was a great fire in San Francisco. And I think they say, at least when I was a kid, if I remember correctly, some cow knocked over a lantern or something. I mean, give me a break. Now we're in 2025 and you don't have a solution to fight fires for an entire city. You can't Mexico is sending thousands of firefighters. Canada is sending trucks, which got stopped so that they can do an exhaust test, an emissions test. Listen, dozens of fire trucks from Canada came down and they had to be stopped so that they can do an emissions test before they can go fight fires.
This is true.
California is a nut job place. It isn't it. You always say, Tom, that we need insane asylums again, right? California is it. California is an insane asylum. And for people to live there and stay there. Listen, I was born in California. I always loved California. When I came to Florida as a child, I used to say, man, I'm from California. I thought that made me the king of the world. Right? But the fact is, I would never go back to California. I mean, it's just crazy. It is an insane asylum.
They even had Zelensky sent firefighters. Zelensky,
just give us our
sent
billions back,
firefighters.
you jerk.
They're in the middle of a war right now for their country, and they were able to send. I forgot how many firefighters they said they sent, but so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
I mean, how about you send us our money back?
Yeah.
You send us our money back. I mean, come on. This guy, Zelensky's wife is driving around in a Bugatti because we keep sending him all his money. I don't know if that's true or not. Somebody said that it wasn't true. And somebody said that it was a rumor that they did that. But give me a break. These people are they went into office as millionaires. They're going to leave office after a war as billionaires. Come on.
Well, John, you had mentioned it at the top of the show. Breaking news. James O'Keefe Media Group, back at it once again. These
stories are crazy.
Yep, breaking some news here. And this first one, all right, was the first one we came across, and it was the Zuckerberg tapes, this leaked audio of Rockefeller Foundation staff revealing Facebook's $500,000 ad credit scheme to boost Biden-aligned COVID health narratives. Listen to this.
Already in conversations about ad credits for other things.
Facebook gave them $100,000 in ad credits per city, but I think it's fair to say at least $500,000. Could have been $700,000, could have been more.
Well, so more to come. Just trying to get all the freebies from tech. We negotiated 100,000 ad credits per pilot city to use. Awesome. And then we also got ad credits for Governor Cuomo after he called Otis asking. It was the weirdest thing.
No, you should just keep a running tab of the number of free ads you've unlocked for partners this year. That'd be a fun stat.
New Zuckerberg tapes leaked audio. Rockefeller Foundation staff on a leaked call saying Zuckerberg's Facebook provided free ad credits towards amplifying narratives aligned with the Biden administration, the CDC, and the WHO, raising questions about Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg's role in amplifying narratives aligned with the Biden administration. After experiencing 4 years of
All right, well, there you go. Starting to break away to something else, but yes, breaking news there, John. COVID and these Facebook credits and this money. This is just outrageous.
It is outrageous. Facebook, Zuckerberg went up there in front of Congress, and in my opinion, he lied to them during his hearings. Now we realize that things are so much deeper. Facebook was giving credits on. They were asking for it. The politicians were asking for it, but he was giving away credits for ads. This is extremely damaging to his credibility when he's trying to pretend like, hey, I'm a free speech guy too. It's just that, Biden had his foot on my neck and whatever. Come on. I mean, no matter how hard they tried, they never did that to Elon Musk, right? They tried to kill Elon Musk too with X and his whole deal and tried to break him. It didn't happen. So, I mean, his lack of character really played a big part in this. It shows that he's just a sleazy dirtbag. You can't believe anything that he says. The funny thing is that recently my account was limited, communicating with groups and stuff like that. And, you know, I mean, Facebook is not a free speech platform. It's the bottom line. So, and he's not going to make it one. So I think that his own ideology allowed him to do the very worst with Facebook. And now he may regret it, because as a business person, as a person who has a lot to lose financially, he may have regretted, you know, giving it all to the Democrats. But at the end of the day, he did what he did. And if he pays the price, I don't think anybody's going to feel sorry for him.
Yeah, absolutely, John. You know, I'm hoping that there is some change at Facebook, that we see these changes implemented, and that we see him come to the table and present a more palatable Facebook where we can do this show, we can put it out there, and it's not going to be shadow banned. It's not going to be stopped in the middle of the show. That you can say how you feel and speak your mind and not have to worry about it on Facebook or Instagram. Time will tell. But from all indications and from what we've seen so far, we can't trust it, and we can't trust Zuckerberg. So, and just this story here proves it beyond a shadow of a doubt. But anyway, moving on, this other story, though, John, that James O'Keefe broke. This is
crazy,
even crazier, because at first this became, you know, it was about this guy, Jamie Menina. He is a deep state operative. He was caught on tape talking about how he was meeting with Joint Chiefs of Staff, retired generals. He works for Hillary Clinton, and that they were going to meet to plot a coup against Trump, right? Mm-hmm. That was the original video. But then more came out about this guy right after that, and that it was that this guy, Jamie Menina, was caught in a pedophile sexting in 2021 while he was at the DOD, and he was a Joint Chiefs advisor for Booz Allen Hamilton. Watch this.
You got to hit that play button or what there, Tom? Hey, Tom?
Yeah, it's playing.
Oh, is it? I don't hear it. There's no volume. Crazy. So basically here he's being confronted, right? Like, oh, we got you, pedophile.
Well,
I don't know if everybody else can hear what's going on here. I don't have any sound of the video.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a huge breaking story, a massive development on this Wednesday evening that just broke in the last hour. Now, as most of you know, in the last 48 hours, the great James O'Keefe was able to infiltrate and secretly record with his spies a major deep state manager, a top Pentagon official who is a liaison between the FBI, CIA, and the Pentagon, giving the Pentagon its civilian orders from Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama on how to stage a coup against the incoming Trump administration. Ladies and gentlemen, this has blown wide open, and it's all confirmed. Now, we just discovered in the last hour that this operative in 2021 was caught up in a dragnet of the well-known organization Predator DC that hunts pedophiles and predators in a sting. And we're going to play you that video here in just a moment. Now, where have we heard of this before? What have I told you? Probably 5,000 times in just the last decade. Every time we find one of these key operatives that is the go-between in multiple agencies with the deep state, who has to have a read-in on all the operations so they can report back to the different divisions of the shadow government, every time we learned that these individuals are being controlled because of their proclivity to be doing questionable and illegal things.
Yep. And you know what,
That
John?
is...
It's just like you said. It's the same thing here. It's the same thing everywhere. But yes, the same thing here in the state of Florida. You know, but what a
They have stuff on you. Yep, they got stuff on you. They have you. Listen, they try to entice you. There's absolutely no doubt. They try to entice you. I mean, when I was an elected official, they tried to entice me a couple times with some stuff. I you know, just don't roll that way. And it's gross. It's absolutely positively gross. You have to be, listen, we have to come to a place where the governmental leaders, the people in charge, whether they're bureaucrat, whether they're elected, whether they're appointed officials, whatever, have a sense of character, not for the cameras, but actual character, right? Where they're not, people who don't, I don't know. These background searches that people do are normally public through like an election. So how can you judge, right? Like the public voted them in. It's just, and normally the only way that you can do it, here's the secret sauce. The only way that you can pick whether these people are bad or really, right? The only thing that we have to go on is who their donors are. If you look at the list of donors and you see that all the donors are trash, and you see that their expenses are going to trash organizations. I'll give you an example. Anthony Pedicini. Any politician connected to Anthony Pedicini, to me, is like, I would never vote for that guy. I would never vote for that guy because we already know that Pedicini is no good. You're right. There's not a good guy. He has a horrendous reputation. He gets sued, multiple times. He settles with people after during defamation lawsuits. And, it's just, it's not the type of people that we want. We don't want people who are lying to the public so that they can get their guy elected, so that they are owed something. And then they continue to entice them, right? And until they've done something that they just can't get away. And then, it's either ruin your marriage, or ruin your life, ruin your reputation, or you do what these guys say. It's just a disaster. It's a disaster. And we have to get away from that. And the only thing that you can, because you can't background everyone, right? And, not every mistake is the same, right? But if you look at people's finances, it gives you a clearer picture today of the politician that you're considering than anything else, I guess.
Absolutely. But what a bombshell this is right here. I mean,
it's crazy.
These guys, multiple ways. First you think this guy is a huge scumbag, but then you find out he's an even bigger scumbag than you originally thought. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, he went from scumbag to monster.
Yeah.
Right? He went from scumbag to monster. You can't, what do you do? I mean, this guy is an FBI agent, a special agent with the FBI. A guy who's now, when he got caught most recently, he was on a date. They set up a date, a hidden investigator, and it's funny. The guy says, "Oh, I'm a spy hunter. I'm a spy hunter." The guy got entrapped by a $10 spy cam and spilled the guts of these like top level secrets to somebody that he obviously didn't know.
Yeah.
So if this is our top spy agent or a spy catcher, what kind of idiot is even Eric Smallwell was more clever than this guy. The Chinese spy that slept with him at least put out. This guy's on a date with somebody that he doesn't know, and he's giving her all the secrets in the world.
Yep.
It's just these guys are. This is craziness. It's crazy what's going on. It's crazy how easily they're found out to be corrupt, and this is typical. You know what? This is something that can't be blamed on Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the fool of that apparatus. It's not that Joe Biden is managing that apparatus. He's a byproduct of that apparatus. And so it's just crazy to see how listen, And American citizen, you patriots out there, that's who we're fighting against. We're fighting against people like this who are in the shadows, running things behind the scenes, and the people that this guy worked for. So you always keep it straight.
Absolutely. All right, John. So moving on from there to Denver, Colorado, where the mayor of Denver, Mike Johnston, just got heckled at a press conference by a fed-up citizen.
Great.
And we should see more of this from fed-up citizens heckling their politicians. But watch the sign language person that's there to sign and translate. Watch this. It's very funny.
That's hilarious.
Very funny.
Yeah, I saw you at the parade, you fucking coward mayor. Fucking, this is your fault! Crime-loving Democrats are burning this city down! The city's burning! People are being victims!
I'm sorry, Corey, can you repeat the question?
All right, so, you know, I'm going to play this again because people might not get it, John, but the sign language guy is actually signing for the heckler. He's there to sign for the mayor and for the police official, but he's signing for the heckler, and you can see it in his face. You can see it in his emotions. He is actually signing for the heckler. And I forgot to say there were some F-bombs dropped in this video. I apologize, but yes, let's watch this again. Where'd it go?
This is so far my favorite video of 2025. We'll see if it gets taken down by something else.
It's your fault!
It's
crime-loving Democrats are burning this city down! People are being victims!
I'm sorry, Colette, can you repeat the question?
Oh my God, the signing is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And the mayor's looking over at him, and the police chief, I guess that is looking over at him. I don't know why they didn't tell. They should have said, "Hey, stop signing that crap. What's wrong with you?"
Right.
Oh my God. But it's just so funny that the guy's like just signing away and he's saying all these terrible things. It was just a great. That's a great video. You love to see I love to see politicians get skewered. I really do. I mean, that's just great. That's a great video. That's my top video. Let's see what happens over the next, 11 and a half months to become my favorite video. But right now, that's the one to beat.
The first one of 2025, John. That's
first one of 2025.
Make sure we save that one. All right, so to round out the show, John, I'm wondering if the people watching know of Congressman Tim McBride and who that is. Well,
oh my goodness.
Congressman Tim McBride actually goes by Congresswoman Sarah McBride. It is a man pretending to be a woman, and he explains to young kids that doctors can help them become transgender, and it's good. This is unbelievable. A lot of people were talking about this individual when they first got elected, the first transgender congressperson. And it's no good, just as you would expect.
She went with her family to the doctor, and the doctor said that she's a girl, and everyone should see her and treat her like a girl, right? Which is to say that they should call her Jazz. Yeah. And they should treat her with respect and be nice to her. But can I ask you one more question? So
he should have just stopped there.
Journey that she had from people thinking she was a boy, and the fact that Jazz knew she was a girl, to her parents and her friends accepting her as the girl that she is. That journey is called being transgender. And like Jazz said, that makes her a little different from some of the other kids. And Jazz at the end talks about how being different is good, right?
Wow. And that came from Libs of TikTok. They were the one to discover this.
Crazy.
That this individual was going and doing this in front of a bunch of kids, and just unbelievable. God.
Yeah, this is the worst thing ever. He could have just said, hey, everybody deserves respect and kindness and whatever, and left it at that. No. Oh, and then you have to cut your genitals off, and then they inject you with hormones, and then, you know, you have your healthy breast cut off when you have them. And those are all great positives, you know, because we're, you know, mentally ill. We can all go to the insane asylum together. I mean, this guy should be banned. That's, in my opinion, that speech right there that he just gave to those kids is worthy of banning him from all public schools. The minute that you go down that road, I think that you should be banned from stepping foot on any school ever for the rest of your life. You've lost the privilege of being able to go to a school. I mean, you know, here's the thing. There's all kinds of things that get you banned, right? You tell a lie or you do something against your country, you lose the privilege of being able to attain a security clearance, right? Well, think of it like that. In order to step foot on a ground at a school, you have to have like a school clearance. And the minute you start talking to kids about gender and sex and things that are completely inappropriate, you should immediately lose the privilege of ever being able to step on a school, public or otherwise. That should be something that we should recommend to our legislators to enact, because this guy's a sick animal and he should be put down.
Absolutely. I mean, these are little kids. These are very small children that this person is telling, you know, that it's okay if you feel like a girl, then you're a girl, and it's unbelievable, John. What is wrong with the people of Delaware? What is wrong with you that you would elect this individual that obviously is mentally ill and has an agenda behind them? You know, to be honest, John, I could care less if a man wants to dress up as a woman and live their life and pretend to be a woman. That's your business. But when you start to indoctrinate children like this, that's when I have a problem. I have a big problem with that. I'm all about your freedom to do whatever the hell you want with your life, but you indoctrinate children. You go to children, you tell them this is okay, this is the way you should be. Just wrong. It's so wrong. It's so many different.
Yeah. It's illegal, in my opinion. That's illegal. That's grooming, and there should be laws on the books that the moment that you open your mouth, like that video right there, should be the sufficient amount of evidence to get him put in jail. Of course, we know that the politicians are so corrupt and they're involved in this type of stuff. I mean, I've seen dirty lobbyists get away with battering people. Why? Because this is a corrupt politics is very corrupt, and we need to get rid of that. And hopefully in the very near future, you'll never be able to do what that crazy guy just did in that school.
Praying that's the case, and hopefully it will be very soon here, John. All right, so that was it, John. That's the show.
Awesome. Listen, we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us this evening. This is our second show of the year. We have a whole year to go. We're super excited to cover good stories, positive stories. Will be a positive show for the rest of the year after this next, it's only 4 days. 4 days. Our president's back in town. We're going to be rocking and rolling from here on out, I imagine. And I bet you in 3 years, we're going to look back at this day and think, man, we didn't think that things would even be this good. So it's just a lot to look forward to. Thank you. God bless you. Former school board member John Arguello at John Unsanctioned, and my great friend over here, Citizen Tom Lord. We appreciate you standing by the show. Check out, let me do a quick plug, Tom.
Yeah.
Check out my new Substack. Find it at John Unsanctioned on Substack. The first article is out already. I'm looking for people to let me know what they want me to write about next. I have a list of options, but it's just going to be a little bit of long form writing. And that's been fun. I'm a writer. That's my first thing there. And so I hope that you guys enjoy that. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and everything else. Please accept the invitations to like the show. And thank you. God bless you. We'll see you in a couple of days here for Unsanctioned Florida.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I was entertained, to be honest.
I I think it is rich beyond measure. The fact that a school board member that has tens of millions of dollars of conflict of interest before this board has the courage to come up here and talk about anyone's behavior. If anyone should be ashamed of themselves, sir, it should be you.
And I'm in favor of you being able to speak your mind, no matter what. That's how we get, remember when we were kids, right? And you had a problem with somebody, and then your dad would kick you out to go fight with that kid, and then you shake hands, and then you go home, and then you become friends with your disgust when they're trying to, take this word and give it meaning that it doesn't have. Our entire country needs to go through a fasting. You see all of these new age hippies, right? They're constantly fasting. They're doing starvation diets, or they won't eat for this, or what is it called? Some kind of
intermittent fasting. It's not just us, and not just fans of President Trump, MAGA Republicans. We're not the only ones that see it.